Hey guys, it's Katie and Merry Almost Christmas. Today's video is about the Naked Basics palette from Urban Decay. And I just wanted to share my thoughts on the palette because I know before I bought it, I really wondered if it was going to be worth the money. It is still $38 to $40, approximately Canadian, so it is an investment. And I already owned the Naked 1 and the Naked 2 palette, so I just thought, is it really worth having the Naked Basics, or is it going to be kind of able to achieve the same looks as that I already can with the Naked 1 and Naked 2? So this is what the palette looks like. It's a really small hard plastic case, kind of a rubberized texture on it slightly. Really sleek. I love the packaging. It has a solid hinge that I like because if I want to use it, use the mirror when I'm traveling, it like can stay up on its own, which I know it's little, but I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Like that's helpful when you're doing your makeup. It does have a nice full-size mirror, which I, again, love. It wastes no space in the palette and is also normally the mirror that I use when I'm out and about doing my makeup. So this palette comes with 6 shadows. 5 of them are matte and 1 is shimmery. So obviously that's the first thing that stands out about it because most palettes have maybe 2 matte shadows and then the rest are shimmery. So that's the main reason I ended up purchasing it, because it is harder to find palettes with matte shadows. There is a white color which is shimmery, and that's called Venus. You can find that shadow also in the Naked 1 palette. There's Foxy, which is in the Naked 2 palette also, and it's like a creamy yellow toned color. There's WOS, that is a creamy color. Naked 2, which is a light brown, more cool toned I'd say. Faint, which is a medium brown that can be built to a darker brown shade, super pigmented. And Crave, which is a matte black. If you're familiar with Urban Decay at all, you know that the quality is great for the most part. Once in a while they'll have a dud, but I don't find that any of these shadows are a dud, which obviously is important if you're picking up a 6 eyeshadow palette. I use all of the shadows in this palette, and I would say I probably use it every single time I wear makeup. So almost every day I'm wearing this palette. Today I wore only this palette just to show you that you can get a full look just using the Naked Basics palette. And I actually really love it as a natural look. I love to put WOS just on the lid, put Naked 2 as my main blending color, deepen the crease with Faint, and that's kind of an everyday look I go to if I want something super duper simple. And then I normally will run Faint under the lash line also. I find that because I have lighter skin, I have 3 of these shadows that can work for me as a highlight. 3 of them can work for me as a blending. 1 kind of can work as a darker blending or an outer V kind of corner. And 1 of them can work as, the black one can work as a deepening the outer V or on the outer corner of your eye. So, I mean, that really puts me in a situation where I can actually get a couple of different looks. I mean, fairly similar, but you can get slightly different looks with this palette if you only had this to work with. In addition, I love adding this to every other palette, whether it's Urban Decay or any other brand, because as I was saying, most palettes do not have a ton of matte shadows. So this kind of gives me what I need no matter what shadow palette I bring. Even if I just throw in an additional, like a single pan eyeshadow that is shimmery that I love, that makes such a beautiful look all the time. I would say that whether this is worth the money for you comes down to 1 eyeshadow, and that's the Naked 2. If you find that the Naked 2 color can be used as a blending color for you, I would say that this is probably a great palette for you and you're probably going to get a lot of use out of it. If your skin tone is darker and Naked 2 ends up being closer to a highlight than a blending color, I would say you won't get a lot of use out of it, and probably several of the shadows you will hardly ever use except for as a highlight, which, I mean, who needs 3 highlighting colors in a shadow in a palette, right? But I find the browns to be very neutral, and I would imagine they would work on whatever skin tone you have. I personally look better in cooler tone shadows and they work well for me, but I can't see them looking bad on people with like warmer skin tones either, because they are so neutral. 1 color I want to mention is Faint. That's the dark brown. It is seriously so pigmented. When I'm using it just to deepen up my crease, I have to just slightly tap my brush in, and then I have to tap it off or I'll get fallout, which obviously is a bad thing. But seriously, I use it all the time and I've hardly used any in the actual palette. So I mean, that is such a creamy, nice color. When you touch it, it honestly feels like silk. So that is a great color, and I use Naked 2 and WOS almost every day as my blending colors, and WOS I also use kind of as a highlight. So for me, it was totally worth the money, and if you have a lighter skin tone, I think you would probably really love it as well. But I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear if somebody has like darker skin. I would love to hear if you get a lot of use out of this or not, just because I'm kind of making assumptions, so I'd love to know if I'm wrong or if I'm right on that. But I can only really speak for people who have similar skin to me. And if you do, then I would say big thumbs up. I recommend it, and I don't regret this purchase at all. Anyways, that's basically it for this review. Let me know what you thought, or if you have any feedback for me. Thumbs up if you liked the video, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks so much, and have a Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye.